Welcome back to another video. My name's Rob. Today we're going to be breaking down Whittaker versus De Ridder fight night. This card's pretty insane in Abu Dhabi. Honestly, it could probably even be a pay-per-view and people wouldn't even complain. It's got some legends, it's got some prospects. So yeah, I'm just going to break down every fight on this card and tell you guys what I think and who's going to win, and maybe even some betting insights as well. So yeah, let's get into it with the first fight. Martin Buday is taking on Marcus Buchecha, who's making his debut in the UFC, coming over from one. I think this fight's relatively simple to break down. Buday is a solid, well, solid in terms of heavyweight, right? He is 6-1 in the UFC, so we'll have to give him that. But he really hasn't fought anyone too good. He had that win over Andre Arlovsky, like Josh Parisian, people like that. I forget who he fought last. Oh, that new dude, new tall dude, you ran or something like that. So he ended up beating him. But Marcus Buchecha, I've watched back some of his fights over at One, and he looks solid. He looks like he can get takedowns. He's like a jiu-jitsu specialist. He has like world titles in jiu-jitsu, I think, something like that. Like he's like one of the best BJJ guys at heavyweight in the world. So yeah, I think if he gets this fight to the ground, it's over for Buday, and I'm gonna take Buchecha in this fight. Okay, let's get on to the next fight. Muhammad Yahya is taking on Stephen Nguyen. I hope that's how you pronounce it. I hope that I'm not wrong on that. I have no idea how to pronounce his name. I'll be honest. I don't know how. Is it Guyan? Is it Nguyen? Yeah, I'm not too sure, but I'm taking Stephen here. Yahya is horrible, but both these guys aren't great. But Yahya is absolutely atrocious. I don't know why he's still in the UFC. He is from the UAE, right? So I'm assuming that's why they want a guy like that on the card over there in the Middle East. So yeah, that's probably why he's on the card. But yeah, I'm taking Steven in this one. Let's just move on. This fight is horrible. Let's get on to the next fight. Ebo Aslan taking on Billy Elekanna. Uh, Elekanna kind of made his debut on short notice, I believe, against Bogdan Guskov, and he almost got him out of there in the first round. I believe he had like some sort of submission. It was like a guillotine or something. He ended up getting out, and then Billy got finished. But that was kind of an impressive showing for his debut against someone like Guskov, who's also on this card. Aslan is I don't know how to describe this guy. He's kind of a gas bag. He completely gassed out his last fight against Iwan, a guy that matched his energy instead of someone backing down from Aslan. Iwan just kind of met him in the middle, and Aslan gassed out. Um, I don't know who's going to win this fight. It really comes down to whoever's going to gas out the latest, I guess you can say. I think I'm just going to go with Aslan. Maybe he gets on the inside and starts throwing those big hooks, and maybe he finds a finish over Billy. But Billy's sneaky. He's got range. He's got those kicks. He's got those knees. So we'll see what happens here. I think Billy at plus 210 or plus 215 is worth a stab, honestly. But yeah, there's no way I'm putting minus 265 on Ebo Aslan, but I'm still gonna pick him. Let's move on to the next fight. Amanda Ribas versus Tabatha Ricci. Ribas is coming off that loss to Rose Namajunas. I believe she lost again. Was it to Mackenzie Dern earlier this year? Um, yeah, so she lost to Mackenzie Dern earlier this year, so that's not great. Tabatha Ricci got dominated by Yan Xiaonan earlier this year, I remember. Or no, that was late last year, I think. Um, but before that, she was like on a 6-fight win streak or something. This fight's interesting. I'm gonna go with Tabatha Ricci at, as an underdog. Actually, she is plus 145, so I think that's an interesting play. I'm going Ricci. I think she's gonna use that cardio and that pace and try to get this fight to the ground. I don't see her finding a submission or anything. I don't really see a finish in this fight, honestly. Maybe Hebos has some power. She's gotten some TKO finishes in the UFC, so maybe she gets a finish over Tabatha. Tabatha gets hit a ton. So, yeah. I think I'm gonna go Ricci, but Hebos is definitely live, but I think Ricci's gonna use that cardio and that wrestling to get this one done. Let's move on to the next one. Davey Grant taking on Damone Blackshear. So this fight is pretty interesting. Kind of a crossroads fight for Davey Grant. He's 39. Um, Blackshear is coming off that big win over the Asian fella, where he showed an impressive improvement in his striking. Usually, this guy is always taking it to the ground and finding subs, but he showed that he can find, um, he can, strike as well. So I think Blackshear wins this fight. He's just better everywhere. If he wants to take this to the ground, if he wants to, stand with Davy Grant. Grant's obviously primarily a striker, so maybe if Blackshear stands with him, maybe Grant finds, a big shot or something. But I think Blackshear should win this. David Grant is like probably like 300 years old. I think he's the one who started the English Revolution back in the day, so that's the rumor. So I'm taking Blackshear by just being younger, more explosive, and better everywhere. This is a big fight for Blackshear. He's really got to win this one to, um, you know, take him to the next level. So let's get on to the next fight: Muslim Salikhov versus Carlos Leal. Carlos Leal has more juice than Tropicana, as Chael Sonnen likes to say. This guy's not losing. This guy's not losing. This guy's pretty good too. I mean, he's honestly probably a top 10 welterweight. I think so. Welterweight is so shit. It's so shit. But Leal is the top 10 welterweight. And he's going to run through Muslim Salikhov. Minus 475, it should be like minus 850. It should probably be double. Probably should be double. This is a layup for Carlos Leal. He's going to absolutely unload on Salikhov against the cage. He's going to find a finish, put Salikhov out cold, just like about everyone in the welterweight division has. Muslim's not bad, but I just think he's older, and Leal is more explosive. His hooks hit harder, and I think once he puts the pressure on Muslim's going to go down. So this fight's pretty easy to predict. Leal by knockout in the first round. And yeah, let's get on to the next fight. Bryce Mitchell versus Saeed Nurmagomedov. This one's tough to break down, guys. This one's tough. Bryce is going down to 135 after getting sunned by Gene Silva. Saeed is fighting after his last loss to Vinicius Oliveira. And this is big for Bryce. Bryce needs to win this and establish himself in the 135 division. But I don't know, man. Saeed is good, and he's good everywhere. He finds submissions on the ground with his, guillotines or ninja chokes, the one he got against Kakramanov. Um, yeah, man. Actually was a guillotine, and he got one against Cody Stamen as well. So I could see him getting a submission over Bryce when Bryce shoots, right? Bryce is obviously going for takedowns here. He's not going to stand up with Saeed Nurmagomedov. Um, so Bryce has to be careful when going for the takedowns, and if he is careful, I think he's going to win this fight. But Saeed could snatch up his neck and win. So I don't know, but I am going to go with Bryce. I think Bryce is too good to just get subbed like that. Um, I don't think Bryce is that good, but I think Bryce is good enough to win this fight in his new weight class, and I think he'll pull it off. I think he'll pull it off. I think he'll beat Saeed Nurmagomedov. That name is still hard to pronounce. The odds seem to be a coin flip, so that kind of makes sense to me. That kind of makes sense to me. This one's tough to predict, especially Bryce at a new weight. We'll see how he pans out at 135. We'll see if that weight cut maybe affects him more. Maybe it'll affect his chin, and maybe Saeed will put him out cold. Um, I don't know. I don't know, but I am taking Bryce. I am taking Bryce here by a decision. Let's move on to the next one. Nikita Krylov taking on Bogdan Guskov. Another one that's tough to pick. I think the line is way too large here. I think it should be another coin toss. Krylov is coming off that quick 2 minute, 3 minute knockout where he got flatlined by Dom Reyes. Um, Guskov is coming off that win against Elekanna, who I was talking about earlier. And I don't know, maybe he had a fight. Um, maybe he had a fight after that, but I don't remember. But This is a big bounce back spot for Krylov, and this is a spot for Guskov to really make a name for himself in the top five, top six of this division. He hasn't really fought anyone like too good. I think I forget who he knocked out in his second fight, but I remember he got finished by Volkan Oezdemir, and then he rattled off like a 3 or 4 fight win streak. But another one that's tough to predict. I am gonna go with Nikita Krylov. I think he'll use his grappling here. I think after getting flatlined by Dom Reyes, I don't really see him standing with this guy for too long. And I think he's going to try to get this to the mat and maybe even try to find a submission or just ride out a decision, honestly. But I think Krylov wins this fight. I think he bounces back here. Guskov is good though. I think he's solid. I think he's a top 10 lightweight for light heavyweight for sure. And I think he'll stick around at light heavyweight in the top 10 for a while, but I think Krylov pulls this one out, but I'm not confident in that pick. I think it's a 50-50 fight. Let's get on to the next fight. Sue Almabayev is taking on Jose Ochoa, who's coming in on short notice for Ramazan Temirov, right? So that I think he stepped in like a week ago or so. So this is a massive, massive step up in competition for Ochoa after he just flatlined Cody Durden a few weeks ago. Almabayev just got knocked out by Manel Kopp. Controversial one where Kopp clearly eye poked him. The ref just let it go on, and Almabayev got finished at the end of that, where you could see his eye was clearly messed up. But before that he was on about like a 5 or 6 fight win streak. But I'm not too impressed with Almabayev. Honestly, I never really thought he was that good, even before the Kopp loss. I just think he's a fast guy who has good takedowns. That's really it. And everyone at 125 is fast. So he doesn't really impress me. He's more of a position guy. He obviously has some submissions, but he's really just a position guy with grappling. And on the stand up, I don't think he's anything impressive. While talking about Ochoa, he completely flatlined Cody Durden. He was swinging from the hip and just I don't know, man. He's got nukes in his fists, man. This guy is special. Only 24 too. So he's someone to look out for in the top 5, top 10 for a while. But my prediction for this fight is tough. Again, this is another coin toss. That just shows you how good this card is, honestly. Um, yeah, this one's tough to pick. I think I'm gonna go with Almabayev just because we haven't really seen Ochoa tested in the grappling. We haven't really seen how good his takedown defense is or anything like that. But then again, he is way bigger and has a longer reach and way younger. So this is tough to pick. I'm gonna go with Almabayev just based on experience and using the wrestling. I could see this being like a 29-28 where the judges have to decide um, damage versus grappling and positioning. Um, yeah, that's how I see this fight going. Another one that's tough to pick. This is a banger, though. I love this fight. I think we're going to learn a lot about Ochoa in this fight, and we're going to learn if Almabayev can get back on track and get back into the top 5. So yeah, let's get on to the next fight. Shara Bullet taking on Marc-Andre Barriault. This one is another one that's easy to call. Shara Bullet's going to put a beating on this man. People are just completely out on Shara Bullet right now just because he lost the MVP, which I don't understand. MVP is like the trickiest guy to beat. Um, yeah, man. Shara Bullet's he's gonna make a statement here, I think. I think he's gonna come back in a big way. Just because he lost the MVP does not mean this guy's done. And the public seems to think that way. I think the public just wants him to be done because he's a hype beast kind of guy, hype train. Everyone just wants everyone's hype train to be derailed, but I think Shara's going to get back on track. I don't think Barriault is anything special, so beating him isn't that impressive, but I think he's going to style on him. Minus 750, that line screams correct to me. That's right. Barriault's old. He just came off that win over Bruno Silva, who was basically already a corpse before going into that fight. and he elbowed the shit out of the side of his head. And yeah, sharp bullet off that loss to MVP. But I think he's going to bounce back here. I think he's learned from that fight. Honestly, I don't even think he did that bad in that fight, um, considering how challenging of a challenge challenging of a challenge. Does that make sense? How hard of a challenge MVP is. So yeah, that's how I see this fight going. I think Shara styles on him. Maybe even finds a finish in round 3. I think he finds a finish. I'm saying Shara by TKO round 3. Okay, let's get on to the next fight. The co-main event of the evening. My guy, Petr Yan, taking on Marcus McGhee. McGhee is coming off that win against Jonathan Martinez and MSG. And Yan is coming off that 5-round masterclass over Figgy. Guys, Jan's going to style on this old man. He's going to fuck him up, man. He's going to send McGhee to the retirement home. Let me just say something. This is the worst booked fight of all time in the UFC that I've ever seen. Worst booked fight of all time. This fight makes no sense. Yan should be fighting top guys, either an Umar or someone in that top 5, top 6. If you're going to book him against someone lower in the rankings, book him against a prospect, not a guy that's 35. Trust me, I like McGhee, man. He's a good fighter. But come on, man. This fight does nothing for Petr Yan. And I understand he probably just wanted to get back in the cage. I don't care. I do not care. This is a waste of time. It's going to be a fun fight, but Jan's going to style on him. He's going to find a finish. He's going to knock him out in the 3rd round. Petr Yan is special, man. Watching him fight is just awesome. I just love watching this guy fight. Who doesn't love watching Petr Yan fight? If you're a Petr Yan hater, you got to look yourself in the mirror, man. This guy's special. This guy's special. And once he wins this fight, I mean, do you give him a title shot of beating Marcus McGhee? He doesn't deserve one, but if he beats Song Yadong and then Davison Figueiredo and then Marcus McGhee 3 in a row, maybe he'll get a title shot, or maybe they match him up with Umar. I think he deserves a title shot just based on taking this fight. Like, the matchmaking here is just appalling, man. But yeah, let's move on. Yan by knockout. All right, here we go. Here's our main event. Robert Whittaker is taking on Reinier de Ridder. De Ridder is coming off that big knockout over Nickel, where he just made that dude quit, need him right in the ribs. Whittaker is coming off that loss to Hamzat, where he's got his teeth pushed in, but I don't give a damn, man. Whittaker's going to style all over RDR. He's going to absolutely style on him, man. He's going to show RDR levels. Whittaker, people are sleeping on Whittaker, man. They're sleeping on Whittaker in this fight. I know he's minus 150. Honestly, I thought RDR would be a favorite. And maybe it'll flip. Maybe it'll flip once we get closer to the fight. Whittaker is one of the greatest fighters of all time. He's going to show RDR levels on the feet. RDR is going to try to get that front leg of Whittaker, which he hops around like a kangaroo. And he's going to try to get that front leg and take him to the ground and overpower him, which is something I'm a little worried about with Whittaker. He just needs to get off the cage. That's all he needs to do with RDR. Get off the cage. Get this guy away from you. Keep him at range. And use that jab. Use that nasty jab. Use that nasty 1-2 head kick. And I think he's going to get RDR out of there, man. This is a big fight. It's a gigantic fight for both of these guys. If RDR wins this, he might be getting a title shot, maybe one more, and then a title shot. Whittaker needs this to get back on track. But, yeah, man, Whittaker's going to show him levels. As long as he isn't washed, as long as he still wants it after that brutal Hamzat fight, I think Whittaker's going to do damage to this guy. This is a big step up in competition. Going from Bo Nickel to Robert Whittaker. Think about that. Think about that. Bo Nickel wanted no parts of that fight. He didn't want to fight. Bo Nickel is not a fighter, right? He's not a fighter, man. He got hit a few times and just didn't know what to do. RDR, he's coming in for a rude awakening if he thinks the same thing's going to happen with Robert the Reaper Whittaker. Bobby Nux by knockout. That's the card, guys. Thank you for watching.